U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton, in the midst of a 4-day overseas tour, says she is reassuring other foreign ministers that WikiLeaks will not obstruct American diplomacy. But what U.S. authorities want to obstruct is the freedom of Bradley Manning, the American soldier who allegedly leaked the classified information. But it's still unclear what they'll do with Julian Assange, the man who published it on WikiLeaks. Assange is in hiding, the subject of a worldwide manhunt. The international crime agency Interpol has him on its most wanted list. Sweden seeks him on sexual assault charges. And in the United States,
there's an ongoing criminal investigation into the leaking and the posting of all these documents.
We are taking aggressive steps to hold responsible those who stole this information.
And what charge might the U.S. file against him? Espionage, for one, revealing classified information. But consider this. The Espionage Act is nearly 100 years old. It's never been tested against modern electronic media. And if it is, legal scholars say the defense would be the public's right to know. There is plenty of evidence, 250,000 documents. But with espionage, the government must prove that the classified information damaged national defense. And that might reveal other secrets.
Anyway, I don't know that he'd be a Quantico. I mean, he's U.S. Army.
Pat Rowan is a former U.S. Assistant Attorney General for National Security.
Most harmful documents, the ones that really pain the United States government for them to be in public, are the same ones that somebody at a trial would have to stand up and point to and say, you see this one? Here's why it's harmful. Again, that further sort of shoves the knife in a little bit further and turns the handle a bit.
But Assange is not on U.S. soil. He's an Australian thought to be hiding in England. Rowan says officials should ignore public and foreign pressure to charge him.
You wait for 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 years for him to go from a place where he thinks he's safe. Perhaps he decides to travel around the world because his mother's sick. He goes through an airport in a country that you have good connections with, and he's detained there and arrested and brought to the U.S. That's the way the government usually pursues these kinds of cases.
Meantime, Army intelligence analyst Bradley Manning is in military custody south of Washington. He is charged with leaking classified documents. Manning could be court-martialed and, if convicted, jailed for several decades. Jonathan Tracy will be an observer at Manning's trial. He's a former judge advocate with the U.S. Army.
It's a serious case. So if it's true that he did do this, the military commander is going to consider that a pretty significant breach of law, and he will want to charge him at a court-martial.
Manning is supported by at least 2 websites, and in addition to his military defense attorney, he's hired a former Army lawyer as a civilian counsel. Manning has been in jail for 6 months.
The military justice system is a very deliberative system, so sometimes that requires that it moves slowly.
So for a while, the only thing on trial related to WikiLeaks is America's diplomacy abroad. Carolyn Persutti, VOA News.